All right, good evening. Thank you all so much for coming. We may have a few more people that arrive, but I'm Ann Vogelbacher. I am the State Tourism Specialist for Iowa State University Extension and Outreach, and we are thrilled to be in Perry. Perry's been one of our first impressions communities. We call it the FIT program at Iowa State. And thank you so much for carving out some time tonight to join us for Perry's Community Forum. And since I think it's important to know who's in the room, so I'm just going to pass the mic. And if you would just real quickly just say your name and who you're with. It can just be just interested citizen, or if you're with a business. I know, small town, we wear many hats, but maybe just introduce yourself for that one main hat just so we can get around the room quickly. So we'll have you start, please.
Zach Hergene, Remax Concepts.
Dirk Kavanaugh, Perry Mayor.
Amy Ratchie, Perry Economic Development and Remax Precision.
Sherry Scheib, I'm a nudger.
Angela Mortosa, Dallas County Hospital.
Sven Peterson, City of Perry.
Lindsay Pasuti, Perry Chamber.
Molly Milosevic, City of Perry.
Betsy Peterson, local business owner.
Barb Walling, City Council.
John Andorf, City Council.
Dave Rozak, I'm on the Ag Extension Council. I'm also running for supervisor for Dallas County.
Vivian Aldrich, and I'm a resident of the Perry area.
And Johnny Reeves, and I'm also a resident.
With who?
Resident.
Oh, resident. Okay.
Paulina Mills, business owner.
Chris Cohey, City of Perry.
Emily Leslie, Backwards Boutique.
Misty Conrad, Chamber.
Audie Sorber, Chamber, and Platinum Realty.
And your name and who you're with?
Larry Vodnik with Hy-Vee and Perry Chamber.
All right, thanks.
There's a couple seats open here.
Thank you so much. I also want to introduce one of our very, very important partners. The First Impressions program is partnered. Iowa State University Extension and Outreach operates the program, but our partner on the program is Travel Iowa, or our state tourism office, the Iowa Tourism Office. And I'll have Amy Ziegler introduce herself.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Amy Ziegler, State Tourism Manager at the Iowa Tourism Office and Iowa Economic Development Authority. Thank you for being here tonight.
And we're so glad that Amy was able to join us. She's not able to make it to all of the forums, and we are so excited to have her in Perry with us tonight. So again, we are excited and have so much information to share, but also want to make sure that this is a dialogue. So if you have a comment or a question as we walk through this, raise your hand. We'll bring you the mic so everyone can hear, and make sure that we have some interaction as appropriate, and as if something you have a question about something that you hear tonight, as well as to continue the conversation for the future. So let's go ahead and dive on in. All right. Well, we've gotten through our first agenda already. Our welcome, our welcome. We also, I'm going to give you just a short overview of what First Impressions is. Also, we'll share a lot of our evening tonight. We'll be sharing out those initial findings of the assessment process, what our assessment team members discovered while they spent some time here in Perry. We'll take a quick break, and then after that, we'll share out things that you've been filling out on the clipboards about things that you think maybe are Perry's assets. Talk about, were there any surprises? And then we'll delve into some recommendations that our assessment team members have for you to consider. But again, this is Perry's plan, it's Perry's information. It's really for you to take and use in that plan what you feel is best for your community. But it's just giving you those outside eyes. We'll share out some next steps, and then again have some additional time for questions. So, your Perry team, the folks here that have worked really hard to make tonight happen, we want to make sure that we recognize them. From the city of Perry, we have Molly, Sven, and Chris. They've done great. I said, wow, we've got AV tech and everything here, so it's been a wonderful, warm welcome here in Perry. We also have Lindsay and Emily, who are here from the Chamber of Commerce. So again, thank you to them. I've worked with this team throughout the whole process since Perry was first selected for the program last winter, I believe was in March. So they've been working hard behind the scenes to help make tonight possible. So what is First Impressions? It is an assessment that's conducted by a trained team of outside, unannounced visitors to your community. So we want to capture those authentic experiences, so there are people that are coming to your community that aren't familiar with it. It's really to help your community learn about your strengths and weaknesses through the eyes of, again, those first-time visitors. Because sometimes in our own community, we stop seeing things because it's just we see it all the time. Then we want to help you come up with some recommendations for things that you might want to tackle either from the short or long term. And really, it's all about making Perry a better place for people to come and visit and maybe even consider living here, locating a business here, moving here. So that's the end goal. And again, recognizing our partners, which include not only you as a community, but also Travel Iowa, and then, of course, Iowa State Extension and Outreach. So, a few things, though, to keep in mind. We're not here to tell you how to become a tourism town. We're here to share with you what visitors might think about your town, what they might think about Perry. We want to try to give you some new perspectives through fresh eyes. And we also need to talk about those things that are maybe positive, as well as those challenges or those things that maybe are the negatives that you might need to think about, or what can be learned from those. And then also, like I said, determining what works for you as a community, what works well for Perry. So, who visited Perry and when did we come? Well, we had 6 different assessment team members that traveled to Perry over the course of 4 months. We don't all come at the same time. We want to be able to capture those experiences. And so the assessment team members make their own arrangements, decide when they're coming, make their own hotel reservation, all of those types of things. And again, we came between May and August of the summer. We came on different days of the week because travelers don't only come on the weekends. We came on weekdays. We came on the weekends. So both, again, capturing what a real visitor to Perry is going to experience. Our assessment team members spend anywhere from 24 to 34 hours in Perry. We stayed at hotels and also in cabins. And of course, we know travelers are all types of different ages and stages. So we had, on our team, we had 5 assessors that were Generation Z. We had 1 assessor that was Generation X, so some on the younger end, some, kind of more in that middle age to early retiree kind of end. 3 of our assessment team members were male and 3 were female. So again, trying to get you a lot of different cross sections of folks because a lot of different types of people travel to Perry. Some people, 2 of our assessors traveled with a spouse or a partner, 2 with a friend or relative. 1 assessment team member brought their family with children. And 1 of our assessment team members traveled independently or as an individual traveler. So that gives you a little bit of a makeup about that. Any questions on that? All right. Well, like I said, we have a trained team of assessment team members, but those folks bring a whole variety of expertise. Those folks have expertise in community and economic development, historic preservation, outdoor recreation. Specifically, we had one assessment team member that did their entire assessment coming in, doing everything in Perry and departing Perry on bicycle. That was his main and only mode of transportation his entire time here in Perry. We also have folks with obviously experience in tourism, housing, planning, and of course, marketing. So again, a broad base, and those assessment team members were selected specifically for your community to match up what the types of things that visitors might be coming to do and see and experience in Perry. So we'll delve into some of those assessment team findings. So we ask our assessment team members before they even step foot into your community or bike into your community or drive into your community to do some pre-visit research, just like we do when we go out to visit or go someplace on vacation or for a trip for work or wherever. We go to the internet to look things up, and we do ask our assessment team members to do that as well. And you can see that 50% of our assessment team members spent anywhere from 2 to 4 hours planning what they were going to do and see in Perry. We had 17% spent 4 plus 4 more hours. That's our person that's a big planner, and they want to know every detail and what to expect before they get here. But we know there are travelers like that as well. And then we had another 33% that spent anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. So giving them, before they even come into your community, researching things and finding things, fun things to do, things to explore. And so what that does is it tells us what they think about some of those methods, or those research methods. So we'll walk through those real quick. They, of course, we asked them, was there a website for Perry to come visit Perry? And the one that 100% of our assessors found was perrya.org. They said it's great, it's beautiful. They said there's lots and lots of great information, but they kind of had to go looking for it. They had to go a few clicks in. They said there's lots of great resident information, and they understood that, that is your resident website, but maybe we need to add something like a visitor tab, something that's that quick little spot that they can jump off to. That's going to have all of the information that a visitor might be looking for. And then one of our assessors, you can imagine, the one that traveled in by bike, said, I think a lot of visitors would appreciate a trails button or a section there on that site, because that is what pulls up when people are, Googling or looking or searching for Perry. They also went to the Perry, Iowa Chamber website. And they said, wow, they've got a great calendar of events. They did say, hey, they kind of had a hard time finding that link from the city's site over to the chamber site, so that might be something to check out. They love the online version of the Perry Visitors Guide. I believe there's also that on the city's website as well. But again, that top navigation section, maybe, if possible, adding a visit tab or a stay or plan your stay, something like that, would make it a little bit more useful for visitors. Next, some of our assessment team members went to the Hotel Pad-T site. They said, wow, there's some great itineraries here. It's got some visitor-focused information, some community art information. And they said, is there maybe a way that information that's already there could be repurposed? Again, partnering back and forth and being able to share information. So something, again, all things to think about. We also had folks that ran across the county website, and they said, wow, there's great information on there that link to your trails, also to water or paddling trails, the county conservation areas, and also there's a link to the individual towns. So the link from that site to Perry goes to your city website. So again, some good cross partnerships there going on. And then, of course, Travel Iowa. And I have to put a plug in here for the work that Amy and her team do. They have a website that, how many millions of people go to each year? 2.5 to 3 million people see this website. If your business isn't on there, you need to be on there. And Amy and her team would love to visit with you about how to get listed. It's completely free. You go on, you create a free account, you can get your information listed. But we want to make sure that you're there because if you're a restaurant, a retail shop, all those types of things in attraction are eligible to be listed, as well as things like your events that happen in Perry. There's quite a bit on there, but you do have to go in and touch that listing every 12 months to make sure that that message doesn't pull up that says, yeah, this information hasn't been verified. So as a traveler, like, is that open? Are the hours correct? It just poses that question. So you need to go in, take responsibility as a business or as an event or a restaurant or whatever. Go in, touch that listing, review it each year because maybe you want to highlight something different. If you don't have a photo, add a photo. Just a lot of ways that can enhance those completely free listings that millions of people are seeing each year. Questions about the websites? All right. Well, we know that people don't just use websites either. They take to social media, they look at other things. So we asked them, what else did they use? A lot of people of our assessment teams were using Facebook to look for events, local shops, restaurants, checking out menus, things like that. If your business or attraction isn't Google mapped or doesn't have a Google listing, that's a really key area right now to make sure that your information's accurate because a lot of our assessment team members go straight to there to look for information as well. And then, of course, our bicyclist person said, wow, they found everything they needed to know. But also when they cycled into town, they ran across the sign that had that great QR code and said, this is awesome. It was very useful and exactly what they needed. So now I'm going to ask for a few volunteers. I need 5 people that are willing to read something. So raise your hand if you're willing to read a little snippet. And it's good stuff. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to pass these out first here. To who else? All right. Saw your hand there. All right. I got 1. Going once. Going twice. Yeah. All right. My number 1 person, my nudger.
Yes.
And what this is based on our assessment team members' research. We asked them, how did you visualize Perry before your visit? Based on all of those websites and things that they looked at.
Oh, this is sweet. A cute small town in Iowa, which has lots of different things to do. Also liked how they had pictures of different events, topics, areas.
Right.
Right.
Number 2.
A strong emphasis on arts and culture, anchored by a boutique hotel strategically positioned at the intersection of major recreation trails and characterized by a deep sense of pride and resilience.
Mine was 3. My front row people.
Mine says a vibrant little town with a lot of art and walkability in the main downtown area.
A positive vision that was exceeded during my stay, which means that there is room for development regarding the websites.
There we go.
Expecting an artistic community.
All right. So what does that tell you? Were any surprises there? Is that what you thought people might be thinking about Perry? Or were you, when you came tonight, were these, makes sure it warms your heart a little bit, doesn't it? All right. Well, then we'll go into some of their, that was what they had in their mind before they came to Perry. Now we're going to share out some of their impressions and their experiences that they had. So we asked them, as they come into Perry, is there a gateway? Something that maybe you see as you enter or leave town, some art, a mural, something that gives you that helps reinforce or gives you that first impression. They said, yeah, that big bike sculpture was one of the things I saw, and it gives the impression that the community has a big biking, or that big biking and love, and has a big biking love in things that happen here.
Can I just add one thing to that?
Please do.
Real soon, this is going to get a lift. It's going to be painted, so it'll stand out even more. Right now, it blends into the background and everything around it. I'm taking it out to AJ Kettleson's, and he's going to paint the thing for me. So I'm very excited about that. Just wanted you to all know that.
Can you share what color?
What color?
You don't have to tell
I'm gonna
me.
tell you.
Okay, you don't have to tell us.
Barb. Okay.
Oh, no.
So it'll
Let me give
be,
you the microphone.
it will. Okay, so the wheels and the handlebars and the arms to the pedals will be silver. The frame of it gets a coppery color to it. So it'll look it'll look historic without blending into the background. So I'm going to put a sign there in about 3 or 4 days to say that it's going to be gone for a little while it gets beautified. So anyway, just wanted you to all know that. Okay, I'll shut up.
Love that. No, please don't shut up. And that's what we're here tonight. We're here to talk about what makes Perry great.
And Raccoon Valley Bank gave me some money, gave the nudgers money that we could do this. So I'm very excited about it.
Love that. And see, that's taking something that's good to great, because you've got so many good things here in Perry, and then you don't rest on those good things. You still say, hey, how can we make them even better? So great job. All right, so that reinforced that. It said, this signals to me that this town is embracing cycling and wants cyclists to come here. I mean, I can only imagine how many people take their photo there in front of that spot.
Somebody having their picture taken.
Yep. Yep.
We've had bridal parties taking their photos there.
I love that. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll delve into what another assessment team member said. They said, hey, the Perry sign was large. It's easy to spot while driving in from that highway. They said getting a little close to the speaker there. They love the Perry culture and community thrive here. Sets a really positive tone. We also love that that's carried through on like the side of your city vehicles, things like that. But they said, hey, again, taking from good to great, maybe adding some more great gateway elements past that sign to help do some more public art or sculptures, or just beautifying that sign a little bit, just kind of creating a stronger sense of place so that people realize that there's so much more to Perry than, the gas station and the fast food restaurants and things like that. So anyway, that was their thought on that. Then there's one more main gateway to your community. It's that Willis Avenue. And I will tell you, that's the way that it directs a lot of people into your community out by the USDA. They said there's just not really any sign here. There's the one that says you've got that Perry Industrial Park. Doesn't immediately convey a strong sense, though, of arrival until you reach downtown. So let's see. Then we asked our folks to, when our assessment team members are tasked with coming to Perry, we ask them to really have their spidey sense up as they drive into town and think about what are those first 5-minute impressions. What is it that's saying you never get a chance to make another first impression? So those things what are those 5-minute first impressions? And there's more of these, but just a couple to highlight for you tonight. It says, as I entered Perry from Highway 141 on the east edge of town via Willis Avenue, the road felt surprisingly long before reaching the anchor area of downtown. Their stately historic homes hinted at the community's character, but I found myself wondering when I'd actually arrive. The vintage Sinclair station was a delightful and unexpected surprise. Its charm stood out immediately. Then the beautifully landscaped boulevards adorned with public art signaled a clear transition. I had arrived at the heart of the community. Pretty good first impression after you kind of get through that meandering area, but again, taking that from good to great, kind of maybe making sure that that gateway is enhanced a little bit. My first impression was biking into town via the new connector bike trail. Trail conditions were great, nice new concrete surface. The trail goes through Weiss Park, which is very pretty and a well-designed park. There were two options for getting downtown. And I should tell you, this person is a very experienced bicyclist. They also even take groups on bicycling activities. So they said there were two options getting downtown, an on-street option and an off-street sidewalk option. Great that both of these were provided. I opted for the street ride into downtown. It was maybe 8 at night, so many shops were closed for the day, but several restaurants and bars were open. Some businesses had temporary or seasonal patios set up on the street. I don't know what a typical Friday night in Perry is like, but people were out and about. So again, pretty cool first impression by this person that, again, traveled all throughout your community on their bike. So, thinking about that, they're here. When they get here, how can they, besides their online research, we asked them how much they agreed or disagreed with the following information about finding information in your community. Was it easy to find for visitors? Yeah, 5 of our sisters said, yep. One person was, yeah, kind of neutral. We asked, was that information they found useful? Overwhelmingly, all 6 agreed. They asked, were locals helpful when asking questions? 3 agreed, 3 said neutral. Again, doing a great job, but can you become even better? They said the QR codes and brochure holders on trail signs are awesome. And then they said visitor information is available at the Welcome Depot and displayed at some of Perry's businesses and attractions. But if you had all of your businesses having a brochure or information about Perry, that would be even better. It would strengthen your efforts. And they also noted that the cabins had some great visitor information available as well. Are you surprised at that? Reinforce? All right. Next, we asked them about their wayfinding signage. Is there signage? Are there cues? Things like that. It says, yep, there was signage directing to the schools, the recreation center, and other key destination points. And then they said, your wayfinding is particularly effective, particularly along your trails, and it made it really easy to navigate to downtown from the trails and to places throughout your community. And I hear you have a lot of great new things happening as well. So I think you're just doing lots and lots of great things, and other communities would use Perry as an example for ways to help enhance their wayfinding for bicyclists as well as other folks coming into your community. The other thing that received a lot of positive comments was on that one sign. There's that little slot thing where people can pull out copies, and our assessment team members were opening those slots to make sure. And yes, there was information down in those little 24/7 brochure holders. So great job, Perry. We also asked them what other resources, when they were here, did they find most helpful while they're here in your community to spend their time. They said that Perry map guide. This person said they found it at Backwards Boutique, had lots of great information about different shops that was helpful. This person said online tools. They said also got some good information from frontline staff. The itineraries on the Hotel Patty's website were helpful, and also picking up those items at your Welcome Depot especially the map and guide. I said the city website was good and had a schedule. This person came for your 4th of July celebration. And they said the server at the Courtyard Cafe was great at giving me info. So pretty good stuff to hear and reinforce of the job that you're doing here in Perry. We also asked our assessment team members to share what they thought were the reasons, the top 3 reasons why people specifically visitors, come to Perry. Probably not surprising, 100% said they thought the top reason was outdoor recreation, followed by special events and festivals, relaxing, and then just kind of a sprinkling, shopping, sporting, on my way to somewhere else, get away from people, stay at the hotel Patty. So just different reasons why, our assessment team members felt like people were coming to Perry. We also asked, did they feel that there's any attractions or special events that Perry's known for? Of course, there were some. They said, your bike trails, the Hotel Patty, the Burr Ride, Viva Perry, the Highway 141 garage sale, and works of public art. So, and later on, we'll kind of compare to some of your Post-it notes that you shared earlier tonight. Then we asked our assessment team members to report on the actual places that they visited. And we did a whole lot when we were in Perry. You won't be able to see all of them because the type's pretty small here, but we went to a variety of attractions and activities. Carnegie Library Museum, Forest Park Museum, the Grand Theater, the Sinclair Station, La Poste, the Welcome Center Depot, all of the trails, the Connector Trail for High Trestle Trail, Raccoon River Valley Trail, the Nature Trail, Vos Nature Trail, Weiss Park, Patty Park, Perkins Park, the Perry Dog Park, the Farmers Market, Friday Fest with Ruckus, 4th of July, the Bakun Ride, the Burr Ride. We had an assessment team member that's been on that before. And then the park on the east end of town with a walking trail, which we now understand is kind of a paved maintenance trail. But anyway, they stumbled across it. So those were what we would consider attractions, events, or activities that folks did. They also, of course, were embedded in your community for 24 to 34 hours. So we've got to eat. So we folks on our assessment teams went to the Tin Pig, the Farmstorm Bakery, Sips on 2nd, the Hotel Patty Restaurant, the Hotel Patty Lounge, the Courtyard Cafe there at the hotel, Proletariat, the El Tabor Taco Truck, Crooked Rail, Yummy Donut Palace, the Hangout Diner, Tienda Quetzal, I'm not sure if I said that right. Pizza, okay. Tequila Villa, Friday Fest vendors, specifically the fire department and the softball program, and then the great food trucks at the 4th of July festival. I also did some shopping or visited retail places, the Backwards Boutique, Farm Store, the Scottish Fox, Mary Rose Collective, Century Farms Books and Brews, TCG Planet, Betsy Design, the Quetzal Store, Fairway, New Hope, El Rey, Misfits and More, and Casey's. And then, of course, stayed at the Hotel Patty or Sportsman Park Cabin. So you can see lots and lots of places that our assessors visited, again, immersing themselves within the community. So we asked them in general to look at a variety of different types of things. And I will tell you, Perry didn't score anything below 2.67. And please don't get caught up in the scoring. 4 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. But we asked them to look at things like your signage, your roads. Did they feel safe and secure? These are all the things that were really up towards the top. The hospitality and friendliness of your residents. And there'll be a printed report later on that you can look at all of these things a lot more closely. But again, lots of good news and information for Perry. We also asked them, what would bring you back to Perry? They said, oh, I'd definitely come back for Friday Fest or a similar outdoor event. We'd come back to Crooked Rail, Century Farms books, fun little stores that I'd shop in again, Perry's unique restaurants. We didn't have time to visit them all. The Courtyard Cafe, the bike trail, they want to bike the trail and stop to eat and drink in the outdoor courtyard there. Mary Rose Collective, the farm store and bakery, Hotel Patty, and your trails. Again, those were the things that our assessment team members said, ooh, these might be things that would bring people or them specifically back to visit. So you can see some of the photos that they took. It's a little hard sometimes to get great photos because we have to be incognito. We don't want you all to know that we're here, trying to assess different elements of your town, but it gives you a little snapshot of some of those photos that were taken while folks were here. We also asked our assessment team members to look at just specifically your downtown, that heart of your community. Very, very high marks. It says, this is a visitor-friendly downtown. Score of 4. That's the highest you can get. There's pedestrian traffic, both foot and bike, probably not surprising to you. Parking's convenient, parking's safe and secure, parking charges are reasonable, you don't have to pay to park. They said the area's attractively landscaped. There's biker-friendly signs, vehicle traffic is managed well. They felt that the main downtown business area is a major tourist draw for you. It feels distinct and special. They said, oh, there's information, signage, but maybe you could do a little bit better on that, on the exterior of businesses. Areas of green space specifically, maybe a little bit more green could be there, but you've got some beautiful florals, things like that. And then some things that maybe to work on a little bit is some of your sidewalks have some not as well maintained as others. Some are in great shape, others are not. And then some of the businesses might need some additional signage to be able to let visitors know what's there. Maybe some of those blade signs so you can look down the street and see that, hey, there's a business there. Or like a sidewalk sign, something like that to help draw attention to your business. We asked them specifically. They said the landscaping's pretty and well maintained. They said it was bustling with people, and they loved the farmers market and live music. They love the wonderful downtown artwork, especially at night when it's lit. Then we continued on. They said, yep, those sidewalks, some are in great condition, beautiful, others need some help. And then the nudgers, they loved this information on the front of that building, letting people know that, what's happening in this building, what's it going to be? What's it going to look like? And that is you can bet this is going to be used as an example for other communities of things to do. It's a great way to share what's happening in your downtown. Again, we spent a lot of time here and a lot of focus on that heart of your community. They said, love the bike racks, bike friendly. They love the exterior seating, lovely outdoor seating and gathering spaces, not only, for businesses, but some public spaces where folks can gather. Love the popcorn stand. And then again, that sidewalk signage that I mentioned earlier draws attention, lets shoppers know that there's something cool there that they might want to check out. Again, even more, they loved the permanent cornhole or bag area. This person said they stopped by on their way back to the hotel from dinner. And they also love the mural because it kind of creates that sense of place And I know you've got some other murals in your community and your downtown as well. They said that inviting streetscape really invited you downtown. And the bookstore has, you can't see it real great in that photo, but the bookstore has a flag out there that said open. And that, poses that curiosity if you're at the one end of the street or the other end of the street of, ooh, what's open? I want to go check that out. So great use of that. And then your interesting architecture and lovely historic buildings. You've got just this really pretty architecture and historic buildings, some of which are in different stages of being renovated or being repurposed. But again, just kind of creating that sense of space for Perry. Any questions on the downtown? All right, we'll move on to outdoor recreation. Again, rated really high here overall. 83% of our assessors said that Perry's outdoor recreation was excellent, and 17% said good. So super high ratings there. Your trails, again, things that are not probably surprising to you. Signage, some of our assessment team members were able to find different things. Others weren't, as far as canoe, kayak launch, playgrounds, bicycle retailer rental, maybe a potential business opportunity there, things like that. And then we also note different things that they didn't find per se. But we have the same core things that we look at with every town, so that's why we list out all of that. We were talking earlier about, as this program gets further down the path, comparing communities and who's doing different things. So this gives us a way to compare Perry against and with other communities and show the great things that you're doing. We ask them what's one thing that they think is excellent, especially in outdoor recreation. Of course, the bike accessibility for multiple trails. They've been waiting for that connector trail for years, and it's finally here. A hub for bike trails, that's a great opportunity for you as a community. Wayfinding signage for trail riders. And then they loved Weiss Park. It said there's excellent sign, clean restrooms. Just really, you can tell that a lot of time, energy, and funding's been invested to keep it updated. Then, what could be improved for outdoor recreation? Maybe some of the other city parks need a little love as well. I did learn earlier that there's some funding and things like that as far as Weiss Park had some initial seed funding and things like that. But again, letting you know through the lens of those first-time visitors what they see, because we didn't know that backstory. They said maybe some additional campgrounds, especially folks that are coming in on your trail. They said maybe adding some additional outdoor recreation beyond biking, some different activities and events, maybe some sporting things, some tournaments, that there's available space and there's some opportunities there. So let me go back here. Any questions on outdoor or comments on outdoor recreation? No? Yeah? No?
We're just saying we need pickleball out there.
Pickleball! All right, maybe in some of that available space. That's what we're here, but people do travel and take their pickleball equipment with them. So, all right. Well, moving on. Earlier on, you saw arts and culture, that Perry is perceived and known for your great public art. And they said it's amazing. It's very impressive and fills the downtown. And that's just, just one little snapshot of it. They loved Mary Rose Collective. They said unique items, beautifully displayed work in the studio classroom space, that they'll be back. The Alley Art and Plaza. What a great space. I just want to go sit there right now. Oh, yeah. And then the arts and culture tour within the Hotel Patty. the little QR codes and the amount of art there within the hotel. So we also asked about agritourism, because we're Iowa and we've got a lot of agritourism. Was there anything memorable they experienced related to agritourism? They said the farm store and bakery is impressive. They love that they have a freezer with fresh meat, and they love that whole farm to table option. They love that they sell other products from the area. The farmers market was wonderful. They loved that they could get all of that produce, the food, activities, and then there was a concert with this one, a concert going on in the courtyard, and they really felt like there was visitors and locals mixing and mingling there, and it was really creating a great experience. So before I move on, any surprises there? All right. So we also took a look at your community, because your residential areas, and we asked them to think about those things when they were coming into the community. And they said 50% of the assessors said that their overall appearance of Perry's residential areas were good. 33% rated as excellent, and 17% rated as fair. Then we asked them to give a little bit more detail, some comments about the residential areas. They said the community felt clean and well kept. Many of the homes along Willis Avenue as you enter the downtown from the east are stunning. Mostly older housing, but looked well kept, and yards seemed maintained. We walked the neighborhoods and rode our bikes through town, and the neighborhoods seemed well cared for. So again, those fresh outside eyes and their take on your residential areas. Any questions on that? Surprises? All right. Okay, I need more volunteers. I got 6 of them this time. So now you know what to expect. So I need 6 hands up in the air. Come on. All right. Any takers here? Yeah. All right. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. This one. So what this is we asked them, they were asked to share their most positive experience while they were here in Perry. Our number 1.
Friendly small businesses, owners in the shops, interacting with them, and had a small town feel.
Biking and disc golfing and camping. Love the little course at the park. We love that Perry has all that and we can bike into town.
I absolutely love Mary Rose Collective. The customer service was outstanding and the warm welcome made my visit even more special. And we love Mary Rose.
Bike-friendly culture. We noticed tons of bike traffic and met people from other communities who were just biking through Perry, but spent time and money in town. I think Perry can capitalize on this more.
I really enjoyed the farmer's market and the bookstore.
The people I met while at the Courtyard Cafe, it was one of the few places opened on the holidays. Server was awesome, and I had a great chat with a local and a couple who came in on the bike trail. The parade and festivities at the park were also a lot of fun.
So again, kind of out of the mouths of those folks that were here in Perry. And I think sometimes it's just so great to be able to hear what they took away. And as you can see, it's that friendliness, it's that bike culture that you have, those unique things. No other town in Iowa has a Mary Rose Collective. So, it's one of those things that I think your new bookstore, things like that. So I think it's great to share out with you those things that our assessment team members really left with their feelings. But of course, what are those things that maybe can be improved on, or maybe are challenging, or what was maybe not so great? So it says, while nothing stood out as overly negative, I would suggest some additional customer service or hospitality training to encourage staff to engage more proactively with visitors. At some locations, I had to initiate questions to receive information, where others offered it immediately. So it really resulted in some varied experiences. Not that it was necessarily bad, but a business, if they know that someone is new or maybe they're not a normal customer, what brings you to town? Do you have lunch plans? What else can I suggest to help cross market and have everyone be promoting each other and sharing, those positive experiences? This is one. We overheard a few local staff employees complaining about a cycling event. Our town's overrun, So again, being mindful that it may be frustrating in that moment, but that does bring a lot of visitors, a lot of visitability to your town. And the other thing is those visitor ears are open. And how welcome do you feel if you hear somebody complaining that you're in town? So again, be mindful that, it's kind of like parents. Your kids are always listening. You got to be careful what you say. So only negative is that I didn't have a chance to stay longer. So yeah, great to hear. We asked our assessors what they'll remember 6 months from now. What are those things that stick with you? What are you going to remember 6 months from now? The bookstore. Yeah. The warmth and kindness of the people of Perry, downtown in the Willis Avenue neighborhood. We really enjoyed Crooked Rail and will likely return again and again to that establishment when we come back to Perry. The artwork downtown, especially the way it was lit up at night. While sitting in the library area of the Hotel Paty, I overheard another guest say, "I wish we lived here. There are so many events and fun things to do." I know, isn't that awesome? Watching members of a tour group excitedly explore each other's hotel rooms and the beautifully curated public spaces. Their enthusiasm was contagious. So, of course, they were there at the Hotel Paty. So, give you some nice warm fuzzy about your community. Yeah. Again, those outside lenses that come in and the way that you make you feel when you're in a community. And those really are the things that folks remember. So we're kind of to that point now where we are going to take a short break. So we're going to compile things that you told us on those clipboards when you were there, when you first arrived. I've got 6:30. So typically that takes us a little less than 10 minutes to kind of give you a stretch break, use the restrooms. There's restroom upstairs also if people need when there. And downstairs. Okay. Downstairs and over there. If anybody does need a restroom break, I've got 6:30, so we will all be back in our chairs. Let's go 6:38. All right. Well, again, thank you for putting some thought into our activity as you arrived tonight, where we asked about what you thought were 3 specific things that you'd recommend to visitors. So we're going to walk through that. What you, as locals, said are Perry's top 3 tourism assets. And thank you so much to Amy. She's been busy back there putting all of this together, putting all those Post-it notes together. So we'll walk through those here. Attractions. The Carnegie Library Museum, mentioned by a couple of folks. The McCrary Center. Did I say that right? McCrary Center. Oh, I'm going to sound like a local, aren't I? Forest Park Museum and the Arboretum. Arts and culture, art. I kind of think that does sum it up for Perry. You do. It's art. The Betsy Peterson Gallery. Trails. No surprise there. Yeah. Trails, bike trail. So again, I think, and that kind of meshes in with outdoor recreation. And that really is a strength that you can capitalize upon, because maybe somebody comes to ride the trail, but they're going to come do a whole lot of other things in Perry. And it's that strong anchor hook for you. Retail, shopping, shops, Backwards and Scottish Fox. Independently owned businesses on 2nd Street. That was something that we really noticed, those small, hometown, locally owned shops. Shop at downtown on 2nd Street. The gas station on Willis across from Fairway. Yep, the Sinclair station. What a delightful surprise. Backwards, Scottish Fox, the Farmer's Bakery. So again, all of those great. Other towns don't have those same things. Those make Perry differently. They make you great compared to those box kind of stores. They're authentic to Perry. Lodging, Hotel Patty, all of that there. Again, you'll notice and remember when we asked our assessment team members, what's Perry known for? Trails, art, Hotel Patty. Some of those cornerstone events that you're known for. Even if they are a hassle when they're in your backyard, those events. Dining, Tin Pig, Yummies, Casa de Oro, the Tin Pig, the Hangout. Mandarin, okay, thank you. Gosh, that's good eyes. I can barely read it from here. The restaurants, again, those diverse quality restaurants, not the McDonald's down at not there's a place for that, but that's not authentic to your community. Tin Pig, Casa, the hotel, and then of course, agritourism, the farmers market, that Thursday market, and how cool, and that sense of community that it brings to you. And it definitely draws people to your community. Special events, it's interesting to see no one necessarily besides the farmers market called out necessarily special events, yet our assessment team members did. You'll remember they talked about the Burr Ride. They talked about Viva Perry, the Highway 141 garage sale. Things like that are events that visitors think of as some of your top attractions, but maybe aren't necessarily at the top of your mind as far as locals. And then I love this, the nudgers. Your buildings, again, you saw that example, again, will be replicated in other communities, I'm sure. The nudgers have buildings that they've remodeled downtown. I always talk up our volunteer group. That group is completely volunteer, correct?
Yes.
Amazing.
Anybody can get involved. Hello.
All right, so all are welcome. Great. All right. Well, I think I forgot to advance my slides here, so I'm going to set this out of the way, though. Because we're not still on break still, right? All right, so Perry's strengths. Again, the things that you all talked about, those assets, and what our assessors view as Perry's strengths. Hub for outstanding network of trails. Strong image for biking. Outstanding public art. Arts and culture attractions plus businesses. Not every town has businesses that reinforce that arts and culture. Nice mix of local restaurants. think there's some agreement there. You called out a lot of the different restaurants. Again, those unique restaurants that are unique to Perry. The variety of downtown shopping and retail. Unique locally owned businesses. So you kind of sense a theme there. Historic preservation efforts, the nudgers, your beautiful buildings, the work that's gone in to maintain and make those beautiful, as well as, the opportunity for future. The Hotel Patis, those cabins, I believe the sportsmen's are through the county conservation. The proximity to Des Moines, you've got a large population center that you can draw to pretty easily, as well as other population centers, be it Omaha or Minneapolis or Cedar Rapids. You're well positioned to bring people to Perry. A vibrant and engaging community. And again, that sense of community. Think back to those impressions. That what were people going to remember? It was that sense of community, that special feeling of a small town, that charming small town. So again, kind of reinforces, but again, a little bit different lens as a local resident as compared to our assessment team members. We already did that. My slide's out of order. Questions or thoughts on that though? I know it's a lot to mull over in your mind. All right. Then, of course, every community has challenges, and we also have some potential recommendations for you to consider as well. We said, visitor information. You'll think back to at the beginning of the presentation when we were talking about those websites and all of that. Visitor information is scattered across websites, making it difficult to find. Community entryways lacking in appeal, signage, and creating a sense of place. They said some training's needed at some locations, not all, but some locations to improve that visitor experience, those cross referrals. It says some areas of downtown have those sidewalks that aren't in great condition. Again, not all, but some key areas. And then there's some underutilized and vacant buildings, of course. Again, very, very common theme in a lot of our Iowa communities. So our assessment team members came up with some opportunities or recommendations. We won't be able to go through them all tonight, but we'll highlight a few of them. But a real easy one, make it easy for visitors to find Perry information online and also in the community. Remember, we talked about those brochures out at different businesses. Enhancing your entryways, beautifying them, leading people down that long path of Willis Avenue. Improving those cross referrals, develop partnerships and collaborations, continued historic preservation in your downtown, the sidewalk and streetscape improvements. We also asked, is your current lodging sufficient? Now, granted, as our assessment team members, we can't necessarily stay in some of those VRBOs and those extended stay or not extended stay, but those homes kind of stays for a couple of reasons. Budget, because we have to stay within state rates, but we also can only stay at properties that are human trafficking certified or HT trafficking certified. And we can share more information about that, but any place where if it's a school, a city, a state, anything that's being paid with government funds for overnight lodging has to be at a human trafficking or HT certified location. So our hands are tied. We can't necessarily assess those, but something that maybe those other properties that we aren't able to go to might want to look into becoming certified. Also exploring strategies, ways to support your small businesses or enhance current offerings. So again, make it easy for visitors to find you. Add visit to those websites. Talked about that. See Amy and her team. Get your listings updated on Travel Iowa. Again, free, free, free. Just your time. We already talked about that brochure, that display, that little rack card sitting out at all of your locations. Not everybody wants to pick up print, but if they do, it's there for them. And it also maybe is a visual cue to someone like, ooh, that's a visitor. Maybe I want to say, do you have lunch plans? Where are you going to next? What brought you to Perry today? Those cross referrals that we talked about, taking Perry from good to great and having everybody speaking from that same playbook and welcoming visitors and cross promoting each other. Partnerships and collaborations. Maybe look at things that you could do within your local shops or restaurants to host events. This is one of our younger assessors said, I'd love to go do goat yoga or beer tasting or something at a unique, cool location. Again, these are things you may want to think about, or you may say, not our cup of tea, but something that was a potential recommendation. Partnering with area agritourism sites to encourage hub and spoke experiences with Perry serving as that home base. Farm to table dinners with local meats. Again, you've got a unique thing that other places don't have. Some others do, but a lot don't. Local meats, produce, and local chefs, if you're not already doing that. Again, kind of picture that in some of your areas, those farm to table, people come and sit around and experience that wonderful meal together. Signage for your agritourism locations, or a special call out with maybe a special symbol on your city or your chamber websites to really elevate your profile. Because folks that are, your trail enthusiasts, a lot of times maybe want to eat a little healthier. They want to know where that food is coming from. So I think there's a really good potential collaboration to help promote those things hand in hand. Historic preservation and visitor experiences. Install additional signage and interactive displays that help tell the story of Perry's downtown. You've got some great historic National Register signage kind of things that note key buildings. Doing more of that, having some QR codes that link to things, historic photos, fun facts. You've got, I think, a great start on that, but just continuing to do that. Maybe a downtown discovery passport that people could use to check in, encouraging visitors to do multiple things. And again, you may already be doing some of these things, but we didn't necessarily run across them in our experiences or research. Encourage, Perry's got kind of this quirky, lovely little vibe kind of feel. So encouraging local business to embrace that quirky theme with unique storefronts, themed menus, or playful decor. I think building off that art, that post-it note that just said art, building off of that, and again, really leaning into that quirkiness. Exploring ways to create hands-on experiences, things that people can't go and do in other places, but they can come here in Perry and do. Maybe you have a cooking class with those local products in one of your beautiful venues. History of foods, meet the farmer, meet the chef, some of those types of things that really can help create another reason for people to come. And also, really delve into your history, your sense of community, your sense of what's unique to Perry. Some of those things to build up customer loyalty. And again, some may be doing it, but food for thought for others that aren't. Make sure you, when possible, capture that visitor information so you can continue to reach out to them, so you can continue to have them follow you on social media, collect information, reach out to them, have a guest book, or just different ways to engage people. Loyalty or incentive programs. People like that. Ooh, if I come back, maybe, or a reason to come. And then if they do different things, maybe seasonally, the town of Independence has a seasonal promotion that their retailers do. They do it twice a year. One's at spring and one's at Christmas. And they have a little punch card. And then you're entered into a drawing and you get the punches based on how much you spend. So it kind of looks like for back in the day, the school lunch card, and so they punch it. And then it's for not only visitors, residents as well. They just do it twice a year. But again, other models that you might think of. And then just those high quality, welcoming experiences, that friendliness, clear signage, focusing on your local charm. Sometimes a little complimentary treat or a demonstration or a lot of businesses are successful of you set out the jams and jellies with the crackers at the shop or the bread mix or whatever, those sampling things to get folks to actually then turn around and buy that. And then also we already talked about the photos and the selfie spots, but where are those iconic spots that visitors can get those great photos while they're here in Perry? And then they're going to share it out on their social media, and that just goes further and further to help create your brand and your image. And I'm sure people will miss that large bike while it's out for its refurbishing, but I'm glad you're doing the little notice sign, because people will be like, what'd they do with the bike? So, yeah. So, and then another suggestion was a lot of folks are traveling with their pets. Do you have pet-friendly businesses? If so, promote them. And Savannah, Georgia has a whole section on their website. Again, we're not Savannah, Georgia. You're not going to take everything that they do, but there might be 2 or 3 great ideas there for someone that wants to maybe really be embracing of that audience. Business resources. Explore strategies. How can you support those businesses? What if somebody wants to open a new business? There's a lot of resources out there, and sharing that information out. One of the things that our assessment team members talked about was, they didn't necessarily find a bicycle shop here in Perry. You can pump up your tires, you can do a lot of things, but is there an opportunity for an existing business to help service that, or a potential new business? Hosting things in your business, like a game night or activities for kids, families, young adults. I'm pretty sure the bookstore, I think, is doing some of that, was shared with us. So, window display beautification. So again, some places are doing a great job at that. Others maybe could think about, hey, how could we make this a little bit more inviting into our community and make overall the downtown more welcoming, more interesting, like, ooh, what's in that window? I'm going to go into that shop and check it out. That lodging, is it sufficient? Do you have enough there to satisfy the demand, especially now with more and more people coming for your trails? Some of our assessment team members had to pick several different times to come because they were planning to come and couldn't get a reservation, or did a day trip and then had to come back to do their overnight and do some more things because they couldn't necessarily find a time that worked in their schedule of where there was availability. And then they said that there was great evidence or good evidence of people being involved in your community organizations, your chamber, your groups like that. They saw some of those vinyl stickies on their windows, but making sure everyone's doing that is, if at all possible, expanding those efforts to support your existing programs that are here to help folks, knowing that, that the chamber and your city places want to be able to help your businesses and be able to help you navigate things that you run into and better promote you as well. We talked about the entryways earlier, but just reinforcing, that the trails entryway is fantastic, but, coming in by car, amping up that highway entryway, carrying it forward, the Willis Avenue entryway, creating that strong sense of place, those feelings that people got when they got to the heart of your community. that sense of arrival, that welcome signage, the artwork. And then we talked about that large sign, really continuing that message. And people love, love, love the Sinclair station. They said that's just adorable. I'm sure that's an iconic photo stop as well. Streetscape, we talked about that earlier. Some areas really need some attention, and it looks like you've started on that already, of course, some places. But again, being mindful of that and addressing those needs. We talked about that. We saw some paint marking, some things like that. And then also looking at your outlying streets as well as throughout the community for walkability within your community. You've got a lot of great work there, but there may be some additional areas to identify as well. So, first I'll ask you if there are any questions about what we talked about, recommendations. You're all
It's
done.
nice to hear those. It's nice to hear somebody else's perspective. I'm glad we're hearing this.
Yeah, you're loud, but
not loud. I imagine we all are glad to see what everybody else thinks. I've lived here for a very long time and I don't even think about some of this stuff. So thank you for doing all this assessment. So anyway, everybody else probably feels the same. So.
Yeah. Good. Well, and the folks, like you said, that you have to thank are the team of folks that have been working, first of all, to put in an application to participate in this program, but also to plan tonight and to meet with our assessment team members. And again, huge kudos to Amy for helping make this program possible through Travel Iowa as well. So this is our second year. Last year, we piloted this program. I don't know that I mentioned this early on, but with Corning and Maquoketa. And then this year, Perry is one of 5 communities. So Independence, Manning, Perry, Washington, and Webster City. So are the 5 communities that are going through this whole process this year. And we do continue to work with the communities in the future. So it's not a one and done tonight. We want to be able to be an ongoing resource for you. And that kind of leads into our next steps. And I'm going to give the mic here to Sven for a little bit to share some comments with you.
Thanks. Well, first, I think we all need to thank Ann very much. Great opportunity for us to be able to really get that outside perspective. I think myself and maybe a few in the room are guilty of, driving the same roads every day and either blocking out the things we see every day or focusing on the things we see every day. So wonderful to get this kind of a opportunity to really get an outside perspective on the amazing things that we do have in this community and where we do have room for improvement. So thanks again to Ann. So great opportunity. Moving forward, Molly, Lindsay, Emily, Chris, myself will be poring over the final review, getting that out to everybody. And we'll be figuring out kind of next steps, looking at those recommendations. By all means, this is not something that gets done in a silo or by one organization or a couple organizations. All these things take a team effort and take a community to get really incredible things done. So we will be taking names and phone numbers and email addresses and staying in touch with everybody. But do appreciate everybody coming tonight, learning more. Once we get the final assessment, we'll get that on our website. City will send it out. Chamber will send it out. And always open to additional feedback, comments, questions, further, deeper questions. We were already peppering her with questions tonight. So it's been fun. Enjoy it. This is also the first official city event in this building, the Legion Hall. So thanks to the Parks and Rec Department and Maintenance Department for this renovation. Wonderful community space, and anybody can rent this for your event. So except for sometime around February 5th, dibs for Turner's first birthday. But if you're interested in renting, just get a hold of the rec center. The Parks and Rec folks can help you out. So again, appreciate everybody's time and coming to learn more about what we did here and all the wonderful feedback we got. So does anybody have any other general questions or comments?
I think this is a great event. I'm so glad you attended. It's always interesting to hear other people's comments. And sometimes we ourselves are our own worst critics. Somebody else comes in and sees what maybe we don't. And it's been a good presentation. I appreciate it.
Me too. Me too. Me too.
So thank you, everybody. Have a great night.